Khan. Khan is an originally Mongol title for a sovereign or for military ruler, widely used by medieval nomadic Mongol tribes living to the north of China. Khan also occurs as a title in the Jabei Confederation for their chief between 283 and 289. The Rurants were the first people who used the titles Khagan and Khan for their emperors, replacing the Chani of the Xiongnu, whom Bruset and others assumed to be Turkic. Subsequently, the Ashina adopted the title before the Mongols brought it to the rest of Asia. In the middle of the 6th century, the Iranians knew of Khagan, king of the Turks. Khan now has many equivalent meanings such as commander, leader, or ruler. As of 2015 update, Khans exist in South Asia, Central Asia, Eastern Europe and Turkey. The female alternatives are Khatun and Khanum. These titles or names are sometimes written as Han, Khan, Hakan, Hanum, or Hachanan as Zan, Zanum. Various Mongolic and Turkic peoples from Central Asia gave the title new prominence after period of the Mongol Empire in the Old World and later brought the title Khan into Northern Asia, where locals later adopted it. Khagan is rendered as Khan of Khans. It was the title of Chinese Emperor Taizong of Tang, and also the title of Genghis Khan and of the persons selected to rule the Mongol Empire. For instance, Mongke Khan and Ogedei Khan would be Khagans, but not Chagatai Khan, who was not proclaimed ruler of the Mongol Empire by the Kuralte Khanate rulers and dynasties. Ruling Khans. The usage of the word Khan is firstly shown in Korean history of Silla dynasty. Originally Khans headed only relatively minor tribal entities, generally in or near the vast Eurasian steppe, the scene of an almost endless procession of nomadic people riding out into the history of the neighboring sedentary regions. Some managed to establish principalities of some importance for a while, as their military might repeatedly proved a serious threat to such empires as China and kingdoms in Central Asia. One of the earliest notable examples of such principalities in Europe was Danube, Bulgaria, ruled by a Khan or a Khan at least from the 7th to the 9th century. It should be noted that the title Khan is not attested directly in inscriptions and texts referring to Bulgar rulers. The only similar title found, so far, Kanasubiji, has been found solely in the inscriptions of 3 consecutive Bulgarian rulers, namely Krum, Omerta and Malamir. Starting from the compound, non-ruler titles that were attested among Bulgarian noble class such as Kavkhan, Tarkhan, and Borotarkhan. Scholars derived the title Khan or Khan for the early Bulgarian leader. If there was a vice Khan, there was probably a full Khan too. Compare also the rendition of the name of early Bulgarian ruler Pagan as Kappa Alpha Mu Pi Alpha Gamma Alpha Nu Omicron Sigma, likely resulting from a misinterpretation of Khan Pagan. In Patriarch Nicephorus's so-called breviarium in general, however, the inscriptions as well as other sources designate the supreme ruler of Danube, Bulgaria, with titles that exist in the language in which they are written, Archontes, meaning commander or magistrate in Greek, and Nyaza, meaning duke or prince in Slavic. Among the best-known Bulgar Khans were Khan Kubrat, founder of Great Bulgaria; Khan Isparuk, founder of Danubian Bulgaria; Khan Tervel, who defeated the Arab invaders in 718 siege of Constantinople, thus saving Europe; Khan Krum, the Terrible. Khan was the official title of the ruler until 864 AD, when Nias Boris adopted the Eastern Orthodox faith. The title Khan became unprecedentedly prominent where the Mongol Temujin created the Mongol Empire, the greatest land empire the world has ever seen, which he ruled as Genghis Khan. His title was Khagan, or Khan of Khans, but has often been abbreviated to Khan or described as Great Khan. The great leader was regarded as a Khan in the Middle East and Asia. Ming dynasty Chinese emperors also used the term Zan to denote brave warriors and rulers. The title Khan was used to designate the greatest rulers of the Jurchens, who, later when known as the Manchus, founded the Manchu Qing dynasty. Once more, there would be numerous Khanates in the steppe in and around Central Asia, often more of a people than a territorial state, e.g., of the Kazakhs. In present Uzbekistan, the main Khanate, named after its capital Bukhara, was founded in 1500 and restyled Emirate in 1753. The Fergana Khanate broke away from it by 1694 and became known as the Khanate of Kokand after its capital Kokand from its establishment in 1732. The Khanate of Khwarezm, dating from c. 1500, became the Khanate of Khiva in 1804 but fell soon under Russian protectorate. Kara Kalpakstan had its own rulers since c. 1600. While most Afghan principalities were styled emirate, there was a Khanate of ethnic Uzbeks in Badakhshan since 1697. Khan was also the title of the rulers of various breakaway states and principalities later in Persia, e.g., 1747–1808 Khanate of Ardabil, 1747–1813 Khanate of Khoi, 1747–1829 Khanate of Makku, 1747–1790 Khanate of Sarab, 1747 c. 1800 Khanate of Tabriz. There were various small khanates in and near Transcaucasia and Ciscaucasia established by the Iranian Safavids, or their successive Iranian Afsharid and Qajar dynasties outside their territories of Persia proper. For example, in present Armenia and nearby territories to the left and right, there was the Khanate of Erivan. Diverse khanates existed in Dagestan, Azerbaijan, including Baku, Ganja, Jawad, Guba, Salian, Shaki and Shirvan equals Shamaka, Talish, Nikhichevan and Karabakh. As hinted above, the title Khan was also common in some of the polities of the various, generally Islamic, peoples in the territories of the Mongol Golden Horde and its successor states, which, like the Mongols in general, were commonly called Tatars by Europeans and Russians, and were all eventually subdued by Muscovia, which became the Russian Empire. The most important of these states were Khanate of Kazan, Astrakhan Khanate, Crimean Khanate. Further east, in Xinjiang flank, Khanate of Kashgaria founded in 1514, 17th century divided into several minor khanates without importance, real power going to the so-called Khwaja, Arabic of Islamic religious leaders. Title changed to Amir Khan in 1873, annexed by China in 1877. Compound and derived princely titles. The higher, rather imperial title Khan applies to probably the most famous rulers known as Khan, the Mongol imperial dynasty of Genghis Khan, and his successors, especially grandson Kublai Khan. The former founded the Mongol Empire and the latter founded the Yuan dynasty in China. The ruling descendants of the main branch of Genghis Khan's dynasty are referred to as the Great Khans. The title Khan of Khans was among numerous titles used by the sultans of the Ottoman Empire as well as the rulers of the Golden Horde and its descendant states. The title Khan was also used in the Seljuk Turk dynasties of the Near East to designate a head of multiple tribes, clans or nations, who was below an Artaburg in rank. Jurchen and Manchu rulers also used the title Khan. For example, Nurasi was called Genghis Yinghan. Rulers of the Gokturks, Avars and Khazars used the higher title Khagan, as rulers of distinct nations. Gurkhan, meaning supreme or universal Khan, was the ruler of the Khitan Kara-Kita, and has occasionally been used by the Mongols as well. Ilkhan, both a generic term for a provincial Khan, and traditional royal style for one of the four Khanates in Genghis's succession, based in Persia. See the main article for more details. Khan-i-Khanan was a title given to the commander-in-chief of the army of the Mughals. An example being Abdul Rahim Khan, the first Khana of the great Mughal emperor Akbar's army. Khan Sahib Sri Babu was the complex title of the ruler of the South Asia princely state of Bantva Manavadar. In southern Korean states, the word Han or Gan, meaning leader, possibly derived from Khan, was used for various ruling princes, until Silla, one of the three kingdoms of Korea, united them under a now hereditary king, titled Marupkan, meaning the head of kings. Khatun, or Khatan, a title of European Sogdian origin, is roughly equal to a king's queen in Mongolic and Turkic languages, as by this title a ruling Khan's queen consort is designated with similar respect after their proclamation as Khan and Khatun. Also used in Hazari. Famous Khatuns include Torajena Khatun Haba Khatun. Khanum is another female derivation of Khan, notably in Turkic languages, for a Khan's queen consort, or in some traditions extended as a courtesy title to the wives of holders of various other titles. In Afghanistan, for example, it ended up as the common term for Miss, any unmarried woman. In the modern Kazakh language, Khatun is a derogatory term for women, while Khanum has a respectful meaning. The compound Galing Khanum, literally, Lady Bride, was the title accorded to the principal noble wife of a Kayar. Khanzada is a title conferred to princes of the dynasties of certain princely states. Saudagar Bantva in front of the personal name, Shri in between. The ruler replaces Khanzada by Khan. Kakan or Kakan is used as a title in Pakistan. Khandan means family in Hindustani. Kanasubiji or Kanasubiji, as it is written in Bulgarian Greek inscriptions, was a title of the Bulgars. Among the proposed translations for the phrase Kanasubiji as a whole are Lord of the Army, from the reconstructed Turkic phrase *Subagi, paralleling the attested Old Turkic Subasi, and, more recently, from God, from the Indo-European *Su and Baga, i.e. *Su Baga. Kavhan or Kaukan was one of the most important officials in the First Bulgarian Empire. According to the generally accepted opinion, he was the second most important person in the state after the Bulgarian ruler. Other Khans. Noble and honorary titles in Imperial Persia. Khan was the title of a nobleman, higher than Beg and usually used after the given name. At the Kayar court, precedence for those not belonging to the dynasty was mainly structured in 8 classes, each being granted an honorary rang title, the fourth of which was Khan, or in this context synonymously Emir, granted to commanders of armed forces, provincial tribal leaders, in descending order. In neighboring Ottoman Turkey and subsequently the Republic of Turkey, the term Khanum was and is still written as Hanım in Turkish, Ottoman Turkish language. The Ottoman title of Hanım Efendi is also a derivative of this. The titles Khan and Khan Bahadur, Mongolic root Bagator, related to the Mongolian Bator, were also bestowed in feudal India by the Mughals upon Muslims, and later by the British Raj, as an honor akin to the ranks of nobility, often for loyalty to the crown. Khan Sahib was another title of honor, 1 degree higher than Khan, conferred on Muslims, again like Khan Bahadur. It was also awarded with a decoration during British rule. In the major South Asian Muslim state of Hyderabad, Khan was the lowest of the aristocratic titles bestowed by the ruling Nizam upon Muslim retainers, ranking under Khan Bahadur, Nawab Jang, Daula, Mulk, Umara, Jar. The equivalent for the court's Hindu retainers was Ray. In Swat, a Pakistani frontier state, it was the title of the secular elite, who together with the mullahs, proceeded to elect a new Emir-i-Shariat in 1914. It seems unclear whether the series of titles known from the Bengal Sultanate are merely honorific or perhaps relate to a military hierarchy. Other uses Khan as a surname as well as an honor. Some of the Hindu Brahmins also worked for Mayan Mughal Samrat Akbar, and so Akbar honored them as a Khan. Because of this they are using the last name as Khan, but they still belong to Hindu Brahmins. Like many titles, the meaning of the term has also extended downwards, such as in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Central Asian nations. where it has become a common surname. Khan and its female forms occur in many personal names, generally without any nobiliary of political relevance, although it remains a common part of noble names as well. Notably in South Asia, it has become a part of many South Asian Muslim names, especially when Pashtun and Baloch descent is claimed. It is also used by some Muslim Rajputs of India and Pakistan after earlier converts from Hinduism to Islam translated the term Rajput to Khanzada in order to claim Muslim nobility rather than their Hindu origin. As used by the Pashtuns, the name is claimed to be related to the Hebrew name Cohen or Cohen. The more plausible explanation is the Hun origin of the Pashtuns. Hun in its original pronunciation is Khan, and thus Khan. To this day in India, a Pashtun is ordinarily called Khan Sahib regardless of whether his surname contains that word or not. During the Russian Civil War following the Bolshevik takeover of 1917, White General Roman von Ungern Sternberg, who admittedly was trying to reconstitute the empire of Genghis Khan, was often styled as Ungern Khan between 1919 and his death in 1921. Khan-related terms: Khanzadi, a prince; Khan's son; Khanbike, a queen; Khan's wife; Khan Balik, Yuan capital which later developed into modern Beijing; Yurik Khan's in Ardamashura Dimas village in Kaila.